Okay guys, the human ear. My name is Mr. Mpepu and today's date 2 May 2024, Thursday, and the time there 16 minutes past 10. With that being said guys, Bonani, Dumelani, Afsheni, hello, Nda guys to all corners of South Africa and Africa Kabupara. We are still under our human ear. Today we'll be dealing with our hearing defects and revision. So welcome to my class guys. If you are new here, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like, and don't forget to share guys. Mostly don't forget to subscribe, right? Our CAPS topic here, week 7, we are done. Today Thursday, tomorrow Friday, we are going to do end of this topic here exercises, right? So we are done with this one. Today we'll be only dealing with our defects of our human ear, what happens when our human ear are not functioning properly, and then we are still under responding to the environment. Thank you guys, all those who subscribed. I would also like to appreciate you. Let's move on, right? Today you can see that we are starting early. Today we are here, hearing defects. We're only doing the deafness and the middle ear infection, right? And this structure here called gametes that it is used to ease up this middle ear infection. So today guys will be fast as you can see. Those who know me, those who are following me day by day, you can see today I don't have electricity there. My laptop is not charging, so I want to keep this time here before my laptop can switch off, so that I'll have something to send to you, and then from there I can go out and see how I can recharge my laptop for tomorrow's lesson. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you for choosing me. Those who have been subscribed guys, subscribe. And then those who are returning students guys, you are also appreciated. Today we are only doing this and revision of everything from here, right? I think we'll keep that, or I think my battery will allow me to do this. Let's move on, right? Let's move on. Then we did a structure of a human ear. We learned that in our structure of human ear we have pieces and puzzles, or we have structures and their functions, what function what, and then we have our middle ear, and then we also have our ossicles, right? So you'll understand that if our middle ear, if our if our tympanic membrane there is not vibrating perfectly, you are going to have a problem with your hearing, right? And also those ossicles there, if they are not vibrating correctly, you are also going to have our problem there. And also inside our human ear, if those lymphatic membrane are not functioning well, or maybe for any example or for any reasons our oval window there or our round window there ruptured, it means that the liquid inside is going to go out, and then when now you will end up being deaf, right? Where is it? Deaf. Yeah, there's the deafness, right? So today we'll do middle ear infection, and then the use of grommet, and then we're also going to do the deafness, and then the use of hearing aids and the cochlear implant, right? 2 minutes, 3 minutes will be done. I hope we can come back here. Let's come here first, right? But the hearing defects, Mr. Mpepu, let's rush this. We are also going to do the revision. I hope my battery will last up until I be able to upload this video. So thank you guys, thank you for being here, thank you for choosing me. We are doing this for you. I'm doing this for you. Middle ear but hearing deafness, right? Middle ear infection occurs when excess fluid build up in our middle ear. You learn that we have our middle ear something like this. This will be our middle ear, and then we have our eustachian tube, right? Starting with our what we call our eardrum there. With our eardrum we are going to have our hammer. With our hammer we are going to have another one anvil. With our anvil we are going to have another one stirrup, with our stirrup there joining our inner ear. So we have a situation where when you have an infection inside your ear, this part here build up of liquid. You might find that we have liquid here building up in our middle ear, right? So this middle ear infection is when your middle ear is infected, or when your ear is infected and it is removing those liquids, or releasing the liquid, and the liquid is filling up our middle ear, right? Or the liquid can enter via our eustachian tube and fill up this, or we can say that our eustachian tube is being infected, and with this eustachian tube being infected, the liquid or the we call it inflation, right? Inflammation, right? You did this when you are doing grade 11 pathogenic what. So those pathogens, they are going to cause the liquid to fill up here. So we use something called these grommets. We can use medication, antibiotics to ease up, because you might find that this eustachian tube of ours, it is it is inflated, right? inflamed, we call it inflamed. It becomes what we call inflamed. Yeah, is the word inflamed, right? When something is becoming big, I'm not sure that's the correct word. When something is, maybe like when you got when I hit you in your skin is going to increase that bump there. We are saying that your skin, it is inflamed, right? So what is happening, we are going to use this structure here called grommet. Grommet here, it's like, you can see it's like an ear, what those things that they put inside our ear. It have a hole this side, that hole travel that side, and then that side will also have another hole. So the function of this grommet is to remove the excess liquid from our middle ear, right? So this grommet here is going to be inserted in our eardrum. This thing is going to be inserted in your eardrum, and inside your eardrum, this one is going to allow that liquid to pass via your eardrum and be drained outside, right? So but it is caused by pathogens entering. You know what is a pathogen? Pathogens are those microorganisms, or those are microorganisms that can cause infection, or that can cause our immune function to trigger, that can trigger our immune function, right? Whatever, these pathogens. These pathogens are foreign pathogens entering through our osteogen tube. So you might find that our foreign pathogens or our bacteria, they are entering via our osteogen tube, and then when they reach our middle ear, they are going to cause inflammation. But the fluid cannot be drained through osteogen tube due to the infection from the pathogen, which causes it to inflammate, right? So this osteogen tube here is going to close that hole there, and then while it closes that hole there, the liquid is going to build up, and then when this thing is going to add to disturb the movement or the vibration of these three ossicles, and then with this vibration being disturbed, the vibration cannot be transferred to our inner ear there. So I hope you understand this, or I hope you get this. Then for us to come and remove this liquid here that is building up, we come and insert that grommet there on our eardrum, so that the liquid can be removed, and then everything will be fine, right? So treatment, antibiotics, and you know what are antibiotics? Those are the antibiotics, right? They are going to kill those pathogens, right? And then we use the grommets, but the grommets are used for young children, and then the grommet is a draining tube. As I was saying, this is a draining tube which is put into tympanic membrane through surgery, which allows moisture from behind the tympanic membrane to drain out, right? So we are done there, we move on, and then we have two types of this. We have a middle ear infection and deafness, right? What is deafness? Deafness, it refers to the total or partially hearing loss. When you are not hearing anything, you know that this can develop when maybe you are having a flu, or this can be developed when we are having an ear infection, and then you cannot hear anything at all, right? So you are partially or you are totally deafness, right? Deaf. Yeah, right? So deafness is the totally deaf or hearing loss. It may be caused by many things can cause this, since now we know the structure of a human ear, that we have our tympanic membrane has to vibrate. After vibrating, has to vibrate those three ossicles. After those three ossicles, we also have to vibrate that oval window. So this hearing here can be caused by many things. Our tympanic membrane can rupture, our ossicles there can become immovable, they can maybe no longer moving, or one of these can maybe, like, you might find that they are detached there, the other one can move, but the other one cannot transfer the vibration to another one. And also you might find that our oval window there may be ruptured, or something happened, everything right up until the cochlea there. You might find that our organ of Corti there, they are being damaged, and then from there we have our what do we call our auditory nerve. You might find that this auditory nerve is also damaged. Then this process here up until we can go to cerebrum. If any process in this process here is going to be damaged, you are going to express a partially hearing loss or a totally loss. But it may be because we have many things. By injury to parts of the ear, what I was talking about, right? This can be the nerves or the parts of the brain responsible for hearing. Up until we talk up until our cerebrum. If inside our cerebrum we have a problem where these auditory nerve are joining, and then that part there, it have a problem, where now you can express this deafness. If auditory nerve have a problem, you can express this deafness. If our inner ear there, our endolymph, our paralymph, those liquid there, or our organ of Corti have a problem, you are going to express deafness. Or if our oval window or our round window ruptures, the liquid is going to be drained, you are going to express deafness. If our ossicles there are not moving properly, you are also going to express deafness. If your eardrum there, it is ruptured, it means that your eardrum is damaged, you are also going to express deafness, right? But hardening of ear tissues such as ossicles, we talked about this, so this can be the two or simplified causes of our hearing loss, right? You can be injured to the parts of our ear or the nerves, something like this, right? And then the treatment there, what are the treatment of this deafness? We can use our hearing aids, or we can use our cochlear implants. As you can see, this thing here that you see people wearing, that can come and cover here, this thing is called our they are wearing a hearing aids. So what is the function of these hearing aids? Do they include them? No, they don't include them. So what function of these hearing aids, Mr. Mpepu? The hearing aids, we have our human ear. We have our human ear like this. You'll agree with me, right? And then the tympanic membrane here. So you might find that you have a problem that our tympanic membrane here is not vibrating enough to cause this vibration here. So these hearing aids, we wear it so that it will amplify the sound wave that is coming in, so that the vibration here can be amplified, right? And we also something called a cochlear implant, as you can from the name cochlear implants. So this device, it is implanted in our cochlea. What is our function of our cochlea? Function of our cochlea is to receive the stimuli and convert it into an impulse, and then send the impulse to our auditory nerve. So the cochlear implant is working the same thing that our cochlea is doing. It is catching in, or it is receiving the impulses there, or receiving the sound stimuli. After receiving the sound stimuli, goes inside your cochlea, and then inside your cochlea is going to convert that stimuli into the impulse, and then send it via and activate our auditory nerve, and then the message will be sent via our auditory nerve to our cerebrum. I hope you understand this too, right? The treatment of deafness here, as you can see, they only give you the hearing aids and the cochlea. So the possible outcome is that they are not going to ask you what is happening with our hearing aids or what is happening with our cochlear implants. They can also maybe bring something that is dealing with our cochlear implant, saying that this is the device, or this is the process, or this is a defect that it is being treated by a cochlear implant. You know that is a deafness, or it's being treated by our hearing aids. You know that it's our deafness, right? So we are done with these two. These two was just only these two parts here, small things. Today we were planning to do our revision, right? Today we plan to do our revision. So yes, the thing from our MTG, they're saying two types: middle ear infection and deafness, right? Then the causes of middle ear infection, this one is the excess fluid in our middle ear caused by pathogen infection, right? Pathogen can be bacteria, can be fungi, can be whatever, can be virus, can be whatever that can cause our immune function to trigger. So the treatment of this, we can insert the grommets so that we can remove this excess fluid, right? Or we can use antibiotics to kill or to eliminate these pathogens. Then another one is deafness there. And then with deafness, this can be caused by injuries to parts of our ear. And then here specifically the nerves, or the parts of the brain responsible for hearing, the ossicles, the parts of the ear, the ossicles, the eardrum, the oval window, the round window, anything that can cause this hearing loss, right? And then this can also be caused by hardening of our wax. You know that our auditory canal here, they remove or they secrete wax. So if when you are using that earbuds of yours that you enter it inside your auditory canal and push this wax up until they reach our eardrum there. And then what is going to happen, they're going to harden up there. And then while they are hardening up, they are going to cause our tympanic membrane to not vibrate, or it's going to disturb our vibration there, and then resulting in our hearing or our hearing loss or our deafness. So this one can also cause our deafness. What is deafness? It is partially or totally. So when you are partially, we call your deafness. When you are totally, we call it deafness, right? And then this can also cause by hardening of our ear tissues, such as ossicles. Yes, another problem on its own. Those ossicles there, if they harden up and not move, well, now you are going to be deaf, right? And then the treatment we can use by wearing the hearing aids. The hearing aids is going to amplify the vibration, and the cochlear implant is going to transmit the stimuli into our impulses, and then impulses go to be sent via our auditory nerve. So that was it, guys, for today's. Let's rush and do our revision fast. What? How many minutes are we left here? Let's see. Emma, come on. I'm left with 49 minutes. So let's do revision, right, of everything. Let me come here and do this. As you can still remember, we did our response to the environment. With our response to the environment, let's go this side. I only want to do a class discussion, right? Let us do a class discussion together covering this. As you still remember that we said, or in the beginning of this week, we did the respond to the environment, right? Respond to the environment, right? And then we said that our human are responding into the environment using two processes or two systems, which is the endocrine and our nervous system. And then we said this one we are going to do next week. This one we did it this week, or this 3 weeks, right? On these 3 weeks we were studying this. And Mr. Mpepu, you'll agree with me, or Mr. Mpepu, what is it that we learn from your classes from week 5? We started at week 5, yes, from week 5, week 6, week 7. What is it that we learn? If you still remember, we learned that we have our nervous system, right? We are going to use we are only going to use our small our acronyms like that, right? We have our nervous system, our human nervous system, right? And we also learned that this human nervous system, it also divided into two system, right, called a central nervous system and our peripheral nervous system. And I also told you, or we also learned, Mr. Mpepo, that our central nervous system, it is comprised of our brain and our spinal cord, right? With these two, we learned that with our brain and our spinal cord, they are protected by 3 meninges and a cerebrospinal fluid, with brain protected by our cranium and our spinal cord protected by our vertebral bone. You'll agree with me, right? We went and learned the structure of a human brain totally. And then when we learn the structure of a human brain, we learn only the important parts or the basic parts of our human brain, right? You'll agree with me. We did something like this and we did something like this, saying this one is a cerebrum, this one is corpus callosum, this one is cerebellum, this one will be medulla oblongata, this one will be spinal cord. Somewhere here will be hypothalamus, something like a bean shape. There will be our pituitary gland. We are going to do this next week. You'll agree with me, right? And not only there, we also learn that we have our spinal cord there being something like this. You'll agree with me, something like this spinal cord of ours, right? Having a gray matter and a white matter. From there, we learn that there are things, we have our neuron that are getting inside there, and then we also, up until to our gray matter, we also have our neuron leaving our gray matter there, having our neuron inside there, right? So we learn about these neurons. If you still remember under here, we learn about nerve cells, right? We learn about nerve cells, and then we say these nerve cells, we have 3 types of our nerve cells, right? We have our sensory neuron and our interneuron, and our here also connector neuron and our motor neuron. Mr. Mpepu, if you still remember, you told us that we can differentiate these 3 neurons based on their structure and their function. And then we said our sensory neuron is going to receive, or is going to transmit the impulses from the receptor to the central nervous system, being differentiated by something like this. Let me not draw the receptor, let me draw the sensory neuron. Mr. Mpepu, if you still remember, we said that our sensory neuron, it have a body protruding outside like that, right? So this body here is the one that we see here on our spinal cord via our dorsal root, right? Via our dorsal root. This will be our sensory neuron entering our spinal cord, right? So we can have our dendrites there. The function of this dendrites, I told you, or we learned, Mr. Mpepo, that this dendrites here, its function is to transmit the impulse to the towards our cell body. And then from there, we are going to have our axon terminal, having our axon there transmitting the impulse from our cell body to our axon terminals. And then we also said that these sensor of ours, they are myelinated like that, right? So this our myelin sheath, and this myelin sheath, they are there to increase the speed of our impulse. And then the interneuron, we said the interneuron, something like that. The cell body will be at the center there, having our dendrites there, our cell terminal, our axon terminals there. And then with our motor neurons, with these motor neurons, we are going to see the body there being protected or being surrounded by our dendrites. And then from there, we are going to see our axon and then our axon terminals. Also, this being myelinated like that, having a cell body, this being a cell body, having the dendrites here, having our cytoplasm, having the cell membrane, having the dendrites, something like this, right? And then this one going to affect something called our effector here in our sensory neuron, being censoring from our receptor, if you still remember this, right? After doing this, we also came here and learned that we have the diseases or we have the disorder here. Okay, from there we learn our pathways, right? We have our reflex action and our reflex arc, right? You still remember that we say this reflex action, this is the action that is brought upon by our reflex arc, right? This is a quick reaction, right? Mostly we found them connected to our spinal cord, something like this, our motor neuron leaving our spinal cord via our ventral root, right? And then inside our gray matter we found those interneurons there. So with our reflex arc, we'll start with our receptor, moving to our sensory neuron, interneuron, motor neuron, interneuron or connector neuron to our motor neuron to our effector. And this happening inside our motor, this one happening inside our central nervous system, right? From there we learn that we have central nervous system. This part here going outside, it will be our peripheral nervous system. If you still remember, or if you're still with me, we said that we have P and S. These are the neurons outside of our central nervous system, outside of the brain and the spinal cord. And then we have two of them. We have the cranial nerve and a spinal nerve, if you still remember. And then these two, they are divided into two. They are divided into sensory neuron and the motor neurons. These are the one that are bringing the message to our brain and spinal cord, and this one are the one that are taking message away from our brain and the spinal cord. We say that these motor neurons, they are also divided into two. The one that is going to the somatic, this one are going to the voluntary muscles, and the one that are going to the autonomic nervous system, this one are going for the involuntary muscles. And we say that in these that are going to our involuntary muscles, we are also dividing them into two parts, the sympathetic here and parasympathetic here. We are saying this parasympathetic and sympathetic. If in sympathetic something is growing up, in parasympathetic it's going down, right? We still remember we talk about this when we are saying that this one, it also prepare our body for our emergencies, right? So this year, if we are experiencing our emergency, our heart here is going to increase the heart rate, and then from there, our also another motor neuron is going to bring the impulses to bring down that heart rate, right? Parasympathetic and sympathetic. It did not end there, Mr. Mpepu. From there, you went and told us, or Mr. Mpepu, we have something called our diseases or disorder that are affecting this. We said that we have Alzheimer's diseases, that this one, it is specified by our degenerating, right? Degenerating of our nerve cells, and then or our dying or depleting or decreasing in number. This resulting in our message not being completing its reflex arc or action, right? And we also talked about our multiple sclerosis, saying this multiple sclerosis, these are multiple scar on our myelin sheath, if you still remember. And then the consequences or the outcome of this is that the message, our message is not going to be transmitted on a speed, on a high speed, or the speed of our impulse transmission is going to be decreased, right? You still remember that. And then we move there with our diseases. We went and do our receptors, right? Receptors, and they're saying that these are the receptors organ, if you still remember, right? And we say that these receptors organ are the organs that are concentrated by our receptor cells. I give you an example of a skin, I give you an example of a tongue, I give you an example of an human eye, I give you an example of a human ear, I give you an example of another one. What will be the last one? Our nose, right? So that is the thing. And then we come and only focus only on one of these two, right? Our human ear and our human eye, if you still remember, right? And in our human eye, we said that in this human eye, we're only going to start the structure of a human eye and its function. If you still remember, our human eye is made out of 3 layers there. Those 3 layers there, and then these 3 layers here, they come here, and then we also have something like that, suspended by something, having our cell body, having our ciliary muscles, our ciliary body, our ciliary muscles, also having our iris there, and then also having our cornea there. This will be cornea, this will be iris, this will be lens, this will be suspensory ligament, this will be ciliary muscles, this will be ciliary body, this one will be our sclera, this one will be our choroid, this one will be our retina. Somewhere there we have our yellow spot, and then somewhere there we have our dark spot, and then that's where our optic nerve leave our human eye. We did this, right? So we did the function and everything there. And then we talked about accommodation and the pupillary mechanism. With accommodation, we told you that we have something, this our eye, our accommodating for something that is coming towards it, right? So we know that something, when we're moving from 6 meters towards your human eye, your length is going to become big, and then for the length to become big, we say that our suspensory ligament has to be loosened. For this suspensory ligament to have to be loosened, we have to see our ciliary body moving towards our length, and then for this ciliary body to move towards our length, our ciliary muscles has to contract there. You know this accommodation, right? With pupillary mechanism, we say that these pupil of ours can increase or decrease depending on the light, depending on the presence of light, right? When we have more light, it's going to decrease. When we have less light, it's going to increase, right? And this is brought upon by our iris, right? And then our iris have two types of muscles. We have our circular muscles and our radial muscles. For it to become big like this, our circular muscles has to relax, and then this work antagonistically. When our circular muscles are relaxing, our radial muscles, they have to contract, right? Contract. And if something like this, for it to become small, our circular muscles, they have to contract, and our radial muscles, they have to relax. We learn this with our human ear, and then we also learn our defects, our visual defects, if you still remember. And we said that we have a long sighted and we have the near-sighted, right? With our long-sighted, we say this is the person, this is the ability, or this is a condition where a person can only focus on something that is far but not something that is near. Here, when someone, or the condition of someone that can concentrate on or focus on something that is near but not something that is far. And we also have the causes of this, a long-sightedness, because we know that in our retina, somewhere we can draw like this will be our retina. For this, something for this to happen, our lens there, or our light, or our image, it is formed after our retina. And with our nearsightedness, our image there, it is formed before our retina, or in front of our retina. And we also have our lens to correct this. Here we said we are going to correct it by our biconvex, and here we are going to correct it by our biconcave, right? Our concave is going to open this and put it to our center there, and then here our convex is going to form, is going to cause more refracting and cause it there, right? So we have two. We talked about this. We can move, this can be caused by our eyeball there, or our retina there, or our eye being short, right, or being small. Or here it can be caused by our eyeball being long, right? We did this. And we also talked about the cataracts. The cataracts, this is the building of our protein in our lens, right? And then we also talk about astigmatism, and this one is our uneven shaping of our cornea and our lens there. We moved from our human eye and we went to study our human ear, still remember? And then with our human ear, we did this, and then we said this will be the structure of our human ear there, having our eardrum there, having our 3 bones there, these 3 bones here, having our three something like this, and then have our cornea there, and then having our another ball there, and then this one will be our inner ear there, something like that, right? We have our pinna, we have our auditory canal, we have our eardrum, we have our hammer, we have our anvil, we have our stirrup, we have our semicircular canal, we have our vestibule, we have our cornea, and then we also have the receptors inside. Here we have organ of Corti, here we have maculae, here we have our cristae, and then here we have our Eustachian tube. We learn this, right? Our human ear. And then with our human ear, we learn the process of hearing and the process of balance, right? In our balance, we said we are going to talk about the cristae and our maculae, and then this cristae is going to dictate the change in speed and direction. And this maculae here, they're going to stimulate, or it's going to be stimulated by the change in position, right? And then with our hearing, we have our manionic pet. We said pet has okak, right? If you still remember here, then this will be the process of our hearing, or this will be the direction or the pathway of our sound wave, starting with our pinna, auditory canal, our tympanic membrane. Here we are still referring to our sound wave, right? From sound wave, it vibrates our tympanic membrane, and then that vibration is going to vibrate our hammer, our anvil, our stirrup. That vibration is going to be transmitted to our oval window, where in our our cochlea, and then from there organ of Corti is going to be stimulated. After organ of Corti being stimulated, we are going to see our auditory nerve transmitting that impulse to our cerebrum, and then that was it. From there, we learn our hearing defects, right? With our hearing defects, we said that we have two types of hearing defects. We have middle ear infection, and we also have the deafness. This deafness can be caused by injuries or any infunction or malfunction of our human ear parts. Ossicles, eardrums being ruptured, our oval or our round window being ruptured, our organ of Corti being not stimulated, right? Our nerve cells being not able to transmit that impulse to our human brain, our cerebrum, or our cerebrum having a problem to interpret whatever we are hearing, that can cause our deafness. And then with middle ear infection, this is caused by our pathogens that are going to build up, or that are going to cause the build up of liquid in our human ear. So we use something called grommet that is going to be open there, and then it's going to allow that liquid to pass out of our middle ear. And then from there, we are done with our week. You will agree with me, right? How many minutes am I left with? 20 minutes. So that was it, guys. That was it. You'll agree with me that we did all that. If you were now, you can be able to say it how I'm saying it. I'm telling you, you are going to have a good. God did this introduction, nervous system, talked about this, and then why do we need our human nervous system? We need it so that we can react to stimuli and then to coordinate the various activities, right? Our central nervous system is made out of our brain and our spinal cord. We did all this. We did our cerebrum up there, our cerebellum down there, corpus callosum joining, and our medulla oblongata breathing, and our heartbeat, right? And then these are protected by meninges, or protected by cerebrospinal fluid, protected by our cranium, and here our vertebral, right? So we move on. Peripheral nervous system, we did this. Our nerves outside of our central nervous system, comprised of our cranial nerve and our spinal nerve, right? Dividing them up until we reach our autonomic nervous system. This autonomic nervous system having our sympathetic and parasympathetic sections, right? We talked about this, and then we also come and talk about the structure and function of our nerve, right? We know that in our nerve, we have our nucleus, we have our cell body, we have our cytoplasm, we have myelin sheath, and we have axons, and then we have our dendrites. We learn this, and we also have the function of sensory neuron and a motor neuron, right? We have our sensory, and then from there, we moved on. We did a simple reflex arc, right? Starting with our receptors there and our sensory neuron, dorsal root to the spinal cord. Inside the spinal cord, we found interneuron. We send it to our motor neuron. From motor neuron, we leave via the ventral root of our spinal cord to our effector. This was our simple arc, right? We learn the significance of synapses, and we also learn the significance of reflex action. We also learn the function of simple action and using the diagram, right? We did our knee jerk, and we also did our reflecting of you taking away your hand from a fire or from a stimuli. So you know that they can cut a sensory neuron or they can cut a motor neuron and ask you what will happen if those two things are occurring. And then we deal with our disorder of central nervous system, our Alzheimer, and our multiple sclerosis, right? These being recognized by our degeneration of our nerve tissues. And then here our nerve tissues are there, but our myelin sheath are being destroyed. We did the receptors, having all these receptors recepting or recepting different stimuli, light. We talked about our human eye, our ear, our touch, our skin, our temperature, skin pressure. We did our human ear, pain, human touch, and then chemicals, our tongue, right? And then no structure and names necessary to accept the name of the receptor in the eye and the human ear, right? So we moved on. We did our human ear under this topic. With our human ear, we did the structure and functioning. Still remember all those from our cornea up until our yellow spot. Then we did our binocular vision, and it's important. We know that binocular vision, it's when we are overlapping the two field of view and forming one image, right? And then the importance of this is that we might be able to measure the distance between the two objects. We will be able to estimate the size, or to tell, or to be precise, or to be accurate when we are telling the size of an object, right? We did accommodation and pupillary mechanism. When something is near, our lens has to be big. When something is far, 6 meters and above, our lens have to be flatter like that. And pupillary mechanism, when you are in a lighter place, your pupil is going to be small. When you are dark place, your pupil has to be big. And we also due to the nature of our treatment and our visual defects, short-sighted, you do this, you do this. Long-sighted, you do this, you do this. And this one is your focusing. You can focus on something that is near, but not that is far. Here, you cannot focus on something that is near, you can only focus that is far. And then astigmatism, the uneven shape of our lens and our cornea there. And then cataracts, it's when those lenses they are developing the protein inside there. Right, lastly but not the least, we did our human ear. With our human ear, we did the structure and functioning. We still remember this one is still fresh. And then we did the function of our human ear. We did the hearing and our balance there. Our hearing there, still, I will repeat this. Pet has right, hearing there. And then the balance, we are dealing with our cristae found in our ambula, and then we also have our macula there found in our vestibule, and then utriculus and circulus, all those things, right? And then today we did the structure causes and the treatment of the following: middle ear infection, and then we use the grommets. And then deafness there, we use our hearing aids and our cochlear implants. With that being said, guys, thank you for being here, thank you for tuning in. To next week, we are going to start with our endocrine system and hormones. Tomorrow we are going to do end of exercise questions, right? We did this yesterday. Tomorrow we are going to do this, right? All of this. So tomorrow I'm not going to do any revision. I'm not going to be doing any revision. I'm just going to go straight to this activity here and answer them. As you can see, they are long, so they will need us all that full hour time frame to reach them, all of them, right? So thank you for being here, guys. Thank you for choosing in. Thank you for tuning in today. It was fast. We are chasing the time there because you can see my laptop doesn't have electricity, doesn't have a battery, 42% left. So thank you for being here, guys. Thank you for choosing me. Thank you for choosing us. Until we meet again, if you want to redo this question or if you want to try this question, you can do them, right? So this one will do them Friday, right? So thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing me. Until we meet again tomorrow. Thank you. Peace. At least you have something, or at least I managed to put something over to you. So we are going to do this tomorrow. Thank you for being here. Sharp. Peace. Until we meet again tomorrow.